Chess, one of the oldest board games, still brings joy to millions of people across the globe. I am International Master Piotr Guen and I've been playing this game for more than 20 years. Although I'm not a professional chess player, I work as a software engineer, but chess was and is a big part of my life. The countless hours I spent on that game was a lot of fun, but I also believe it had a huge impact on who I am today as a person or as an employee at a completely different job. Let me share with you my experiences and you will learn how the game of chess can be a great educational tool regardless of what playing level you represent. I will focus on three main categories: benefits from playing chess, benefits from being in a chess society, and benefits from working on chess. First of all, playing chess requires you to focus on your objective and it stimulates your brain. It's like if you go to the gym training your brain cells. But in what areas is it particularly important? What else can we get just from playing chess? There are certain challenges of the 21st century as we live in a fast-paced society. For example, we can be bombarded with various notifications from our smartphone applications at any time. We are so easily distracted. We tend to consume shorter and shorter videos like TikTok. This is not necessarily all wrong, but it's healthy to be able to balance it somehow. Slow down, take a break, a longer time to think about your next move. A classical game of chess can take a few hours and it requires you to be patient and to concentrate as much as you can. Even if you are a grandmaster, to play a good game you just can't follow the moves which pop into your mind. You have to really work hard over the board, calculate, evaluate variations, and actually forget about anything else at that moment. Personally, I always find it very rewarding when I can enter such a flow state and perform at my peak level. There are some myths or stereotypes that chess is so heavily analyzed that nowadays it's a game about who is able to remember more. Nothing could be more wrong. Remembering a lot of different chess openings or some theoretical endgames can be very useful. Having a good memory is an asset for a chess player. However, pure memorization of chess concepts is nowhere near to be the only key to success. In fact, playing chess itself can boost your memory. According to one research, auditory memory function, like recalling lists of words you hear, was significantly better in expert chess players compared to non-chess players. In another research, we can find that chess players are also better at remembering and quickly recognizing visual patterns. And it's not like only people with such skills are becoming chess players. Trying to memorize complex chess positions helps with that. I should also mention that there are works which say that chess can help to stop or at least slow Alzheimer's disease. There is another stereotype that chess players are math geniuses. We can find a lot of research seemingly stating that, but those conclusions are a bit misleading. Being a good chess player doesn't automatically make you good at maths unless we are talking about kids learning to count the pawns. Unfortunately, the so-called far transfer does not exist. Pure chess knowledge and skills cannot be directly transferred to loosely related domains such as maths or programming. However, as a software engineer, I greatly benefited from logical thinking, creativity, and planning which were enhanced by playing chess. There are also a lot of similarities between finding a solution to a problem and finding a good move on the chessboard. I'm sure this comes in handy for anyone involved in programming, maths, or actually any intellectual activity. In chess, as well as in life, we constantly have to make decisions, sometimes even under pressure. There are always some time and resource limitations, as well as consequences of our choices. The game of chess reinforces critical thinking. It teaches us to observe, analyze, formulate goals, identify alternatives, take into account opponents' ideas, predict and evaluate results, verify our knowledge, manage time and resources, and above all, take responsibility. One wrong move can spoil literally everything. One mistake can cost a full point. One hasty decision can throw away a few hours of hard work. Sometimes children are even instructed to sit on their hands so that they don't move before they think. Imagine having a completely winning position, but because you thought too long earlier, or you just rush to have a delicious dinner after the game, and you don't think properly, you just don't spend enough time to run the proper decision-making process, you can painfully lose the game and then not enjoy your meal. And trust me on that, I know very well what I'm saying. Chess is a competition. Everyone enjoys playing well and winning. As we know, the reality is a bit more complex. If someone doesn't make any mistakes, I would recommend scanning him for any strange electronic devices. Normally we cannot avoid making mistakes. We have to learn how to deal with painful losses, draw some conclusions, and prepare to perform better next time. Chess reflects and shapes our character. My students are often amazed that I can tell something about their character. For me it's like, show me your games and analysis and I will tell you who you are. From my experience, I can share that I realized I have always been a perfectionist. This has its positive side, but it is often the source of my problems, both on the chessboard and in life. I put too much energy into less important decisions. Later on, when facing more difficult challenges, I might not have enough time or energy. I understood this when analyzing reasons for my failures as a player. Then I realized it's not just about chess. Since then I've been working on it. It's not easy, but I'm still trying. Chess is not just about moves on the chessboard. I travel a lot to compete in different international tournaments, I interact with other players, some of them even became my close friends. I also follow the news, share my thoughts and create content myself. I feel I belong to a nice community, which is another source of benefits. Some people believe that taking part is even more important than winning. I think taking part without having a result-oriented goal and without putting effort to improve loses a lot of meaning. Being competitive pushes us forward, and you don't have to be a master, you can be a beginner who wants to beat other beginners. One way or the other, like in other sports, it is clearly an important value when different people are united through a competition and cultivate sportsmanship, fair play, learn to respect our opponents and so on. Chess is a nobilitating game and it is extremely inclusive. Being part of such society develops teamwork and empathy among other things. Different people come for different reasons. I've seen vets, lawyers, tram drivers, owners of large companies or philosophers. They all have equal rights at the chessboard and they all follow the same rules. Chess serves as a bridge to bring different people together. Have you seen a 7-year-old playing against a 70-year-old? I can't imagine a boxing match, well, it's not that rare in chess. But it's not just about being accessible to everyone. It encourages players to spend time with each other. Sometimes it's not easy for parents or grandparents to find a common activity with little kid. Playing chess might be the answer. They can play or learn to play for many hours. Even those who don't necessarily like each other, they for example might be paired against each other at a tournament and have a small chat afterwards. Chess connects different people. I usually love to analyze with my opponent after the game. I'm just curious what they calculated, maybe they would also share what they prepared before the game, what they thought about me and so on. Fortunately, good tournament organizers think about this aspect and provide the analysis room. Advanced chess players can talk about chess without the board, but not everyone is advanced. Having a dedicated place encourages players to share their thought process and get to know each other. People have different attitudes, perspectives, style or knowledge. It's worth exchanging our views and learning new things. Thanks to chess, I have visited 20 foreign countries, playing lots of tournaments, experiencing different cultures, and it's difficult to count how many people I got to know. I also have some foreign students I teach online. They learn about chess, but I also learn something. Chess is an international game without barriers, and regardless of your rating, you have a chance to meet foreign players even if you don't travel yourself. I heard chess is a good tool to start the dialogue. I couldn't say it better and I couldn't agree more. When I came to high school, I realized how terrible my English was. I was the worst in the class. Maybe it was a good class, but it was clear I had to improve my English. Of course, I tried to learn harder and that was enough to fix my grammar or vocabulary. But the big change came when I actually started to speak, and chess was the reason. You can play and analyze with someone for hours using a very limited number of words. Chess can be considered an international language itself. It enhances social skills, and once you get to know someone through chess, you can be more open. I was afraid to speak English, but when I met some nice people who couldn't speak my language and I wanted to talk more about chess with them, I was left with no choice. I had to speak, and then of course we were talking not just about chess. I hope now my English is not so bad and you can understand me. I have also heard about rehabilitative qualities of chess, which I found very interesting. There are special programs installed in many prisons around the world. Perhaps the best profit of those programs is chess' ability to prepare the prisoners for their eventual release and life in the society. In 2012, Anatoly Karpov, 12th World Chess Champion, visited Cook County Jail as a guest of Sheriff Thomas J. Dart to introduce chess to the inmates. A few years later, Dart highlighted the importance of chess being played in prisons. He said, "Chess instills qualities such as patience, strategy, and critical thinking which will serve these men well as they re-enter society, looking to avoid the triggers that landed them into the criminal justice system." In 2021, a worldwide international chess tournament for inmates took place in many prisons around the world. The participation of the inmates from Cook County Jail was contingent partly upon their good behavior. This proves that chess can improve the behavior of the prisoners serving their time, which comes with great benefit to both inmates and the staff. We all know it's not easy to improve without doing anything about it. But actually, when I started playing chess, I wasn't aware that one needs to work on it. Now I think that overall I spent more time working on chess than on playing. Does it have any benefits we haven't already covered? Chess encourages and rewards hard and systematic work. It is relatively a very fair game. A lot of coaches say that players shouldn't be attached to ratings too much, but ratings are good indicators of how well we play. If you play better, your rating goes up. We can easily measure that. I always liked it about chess that if you win, you win. There is no wind blowing on the pieces on the chessboard, there is no jury commenting on the style of our play which can affect our game results. Of course, I can still hear some people finding strange reasons for their bad results. In one game, of course, anything can happen, you can also have a bad tournament, but overall your chess results verify if you worked properly. I must admit that I am naturally a very lazy person, but hearing about all these benefits I have already mentioned might not encourage me to play and work on chess as much as a will to improve and, literally, to see my rating go up. I just had to become at least a bit more diligent and disciplined than I was. Training doesn't necessarily mean just following some random regime. You should also work smart. One big difference between lower rated players and masters is the ability to distill the essence of the position. To make a good training plan, you should wisely choose what to study. For example, I love reading chess books, but I quickly realized I don't really need all the information. Some information is not so useful for me, some is impractical to remember, and some of it is even wrong. I was actually really surprised to see that some authors might be so terrible. And nowadays there is so much data around us and fake news is easily spread. Being able to prioritize, sort and double-check information, basically organize your work and information, is the key for proper knowledge acquisition. When prioritizing what to study, it's also good to understand your weakest spots. Do you know how I'm able to find my own or my students' strengths and weaknesses? It's no secret, and I have already mentioned it earlier when saying that chess shapes our character. There is no better way to learn about it than analyzing games you played. When I was a kid, I was advised to have a notebook to store my games. Later, together with a coach, we were looking for mistakes in my games, and I wrote all important remarks in that notebook. Nowadays I do it on my computer and without a coach. But the process is the same. I can also add that it's good to categorize mistakes and make some statistics. We might be emotionally attached to one mistake which happened in an important game and not see some other type of mistakes which actually happened many times. All chess players are aware that they simply need to learn to draw conclusions to play the next game better. Apart from knowing your strengths and weaknesses, let's not forget you don't play chess alone. You can of course play what you like, but trying to find a more advanced strategy which is not convenient to a specific opponent brings you to another level of thinking, problem solving, and basically planning. Sometimes I can even spend a few hours preparing against my opponent. I watch his games, sometimes even ask friends if they know something about that person. Then I try to decide which opening to play, should I surprise him, take more risk or try to bore him, try to prolong the fight and so on. I even take into account psychological aspects to choose my strategy. I also need to guess what are the probabilities of him going into my preparations, and if I decide to play something I don't know very well, to surprise him, I must learn it quickly not to surprise myself. This requires chess players to be able to process a lot of data and plan your actions with so many variables. Last but not least, I will mention the use of computers. Nowadays it's hard to imagine life without them. I still use paper books to learn chess, but most of my training and game preparations are with the use of special softwares. Computers are winning against humans, but they are nowhere near solving the game. According to the well-known mathematician Claude Shannon, it's even impossible to go through all possibilities. Instead of killing the game, computers actually help us to learn and discover new skills. I have a lot of different tools, but I mainly use a database and an engine. My database has over 9 million games, and I can quickly browse games of specific players or games played from a specific position. My engine can play better than any human being, but it doesn't play perfect chess. One needs to know how to understand it and how to work with it. Learning chess with the help of machines boosts analytical skills, which I'm sure is also useful in education. I have presented 15 points within 3 categories: benefits from playing chess, benefits from being in a chess community, and benefits from working on chess. This doesn't exhaust the topic of educational aspects of the royal game. Nevertheless, I hope that now you can see a variety of different benefits. It's not just good for your brain, but chess also develops different soft skills like teamwork or empathy, which I guess many people didn't expect. At the end, I want to remind you that chess is very easy to learn. Maybe it's hard to become a master, but you can worry about that later. I encourage everyone to play or learn to play if you haven't already. Nowadays there are many applications and you can even play online at any moment you want. You will easily find many opponents on your level. It's accessible to literally everyone. People of different age, skin color, ethnicity or whatever kind of abilities or preferences can compete on equal terms. You don't need to be a master to have fun and benefit from all the positive aspects. Chess has certainly helped me to become a better version of myself. Thank you.